Oh, I'm on. Great. Oh my God. And this has been happening where I am in Bali the last couple of days. I haven't been able to do many videos. There's something going on with the Wi-Fi. What that is, I don't know. There's certain things that the government restrictions that the Indonesian government does put on the Wi-Fi, who can access it, what we can put up, what we can and can't send out there to the world. So so hopefully I can get through this without it dropping in and out. I just try to do it on my phone, but it's not happening. So thank you so much for coming on to my segment on Sacred 1 Million Meditators. This is Kerry. I'm a spiritual intuitive energy healer here in Bali. I've been doing this for many, many years. And why I'm talking about this so much today is, like, I've had a beautiful week with people approaching me and asking questions and sending me in information and wanting to know information as well about where we are and where they are and how this all fits and why this is happening. And wanting to know more about my near-death experience. So I'm going to focus on that today. If you have any questions, I really, really appreciate it if you just comment below or send me. You can PM me. Many of you know me from Facebook as well, and you do, because I do receive on Messenger. So send me whichever way, and you can access my email through Instagram, that sort of thing. So, please keep sending your comments and asking your questions. So one of the things I was asked was actually this person, they saw my book and they said, "Wow, is that you?" And I said, "Yeah, I just happened to have my book sitting where this person sat down and they started talking to me. And I was out and about actually, and in a cafe, they go, 'Wow, is that you?' And they picked up the book and I went, 'Yeah, I wrote that a couple of years ago.'" Anyway, then they asked me, and I said I write about when I crossed over, when I died, my near-death experience and what happened. And then that sort of started a whole new conversation. And he said, "Oh, I had a friend that had a near-death experience," and he told me the story about he was on a motorbike and he nearly fell off, and that was his near-death experience. He was riding with no hands, standing on his bike, and nearly came off, and that was his experience. And I said, "Oh, okay. No, my experience was I actually died. My vital organs shut down. And, firstly, I was in a lot of pain. I was given an injection by a nurse, actually, which is fine. She was a wonderful nurse, and she'd been doing this, giving me these injections for quite some time. But this particular day, for no reason at all, no explanation, my vital organ shut down, and it happened to be in 2011. So I always say that's because divine wanted that to happen, because I wasn't waking up to what I'm here to do. At the time, I remember I was going through a divorce, a bankruptcy, many things that were happening, and I kept asking. I was so devastated about the breakup of my marriage, of the going through. I was anxious about the bankruptcy, and I started asking, why am I here? I started, and it was like, when I look back, it was like a type of prayer I was doing consciously, but unconsciously, not knowing why I was doing it. In the subconscious will tell you just to do this, but it'll say, it's not real. I mean, that's what it does. But I kept doing it. I felt like I'd hit rock bottom and I had nothing else to give. So why was I here? And I kept asking. Anyway, long story short, in January 2011, was in a doctor's surgery with a nurse. She gave me an injection that I'd had many, many times and for many, many months. And all of a sudden, I was in so much pain. My vital organs were shutting down. I was on a plinth, on a medical bed in the doctor's surgery. The doctors and nurses were running around. as I left my body, as the pain dissipated from my body, so did I, and I became spirit. And the way I describe it is, it was like when you see if you dropped a piece of paper and it sort of glides like that, that's what it was like. As soon as the pain stopped, because the pain was horrific. If you've ever had or known anybody that their vital organs have shut down, it's a very, very painful process. But what happens is then you drift. It's like drifting into this purity of love. So, and that's what spirit is. So in what I believe is my spirit, through my experience, this is my truth of what happened. So what happened is I left my body. Now you've got to think, I was in spirit world, and it's a different way of communication when we're in spirit than in the physical. So I've had to learn and work out ways to communicate what actually happened in this experience. I know the experience. I know the people that I channel in the spiritual world, they know the experience. But to bring that down into the physical world and the human world, I had to learn to do. So I now know the words to speak, what they were, to connect those feelings, what the words are to communicate that to others. So you're getting the experience from my perspective and how I became a spiritual, intuitive and energy worker. So I went through the first dimension was the pain dissipated, and then I became spirit, and I was outside my body looking down. I was watching. I was able to see, watch and feel and hear what was happening. The doctors and nurses, what they were doing, they were injecting me. I actually wasn't conscious of that until afterwards, but I knew they were doing something. And at one stage I did, just before I transitioned and left my body, I could feel them tapping and saying to me, touching my face and saying to me, Kerry, stay with us, open your eyes, and just all this commotion going on. But I had no control. I had no control over what I say divine was doing to me at that time to show me who we truly are. So then I left my body and I'm watching, and this feeling of love within my heart was with me. And I knew consciously that I was dying, or I had reached death, and it was so beautiful. The feeling was just bliss. And then I went to another dimension, and my 3 children were there. Now, my 3 children are living, so don't think that they haven't crossed over and not had the experience that I'm aware of. If they have, they haven't shared it with me, and I'm sure they would have if they had. But I was with them, and I was talking to them in a way that they weren't able to understand. So when I translate this, I say I was actually in spirit form, and they were unable to connect with me on a spiritual level, and that is because they were in human form and they're not open to spirituality. And this is when we say open to spirituality, it means I have this awareness, this understanding that I am also spirit. I'm not just this human form. And I take a bit of that because I didn't know. So I never taught my children about spirituality because I wasn't taught spirituality, and I didn't know when I was seeing, even as a child, seeing people at the end of my bed, that was some kind of spiritual transitioning I was going through and receiving. It wasn't until I had my near-death experience, it was like the universe saying, wake up, this is what you're here for. So it was a big, beautiful awakening for me. And then the last dimension was I became this beautiful light. And as I became the light, there was this beautiful, amazing light, which I now know is part of the Palladians, or if we want to talk about Atlantis, it's all part of it. that beautiful light came towards me, and as I could see me, I was this small version of that beautiful light. And that light came with me, and it was like it just wrapped its arms around me and hugged me, and I became one with that beautiful light. Now, that beautiful light is actually part of, if the research that I've done is part of the Palladians, and that's part of our DNA. We each have this beautiful, beautiful light. That little light that I was, you have that. We all have a beautiful, beautiful light, and we are part of a huge energy of, I call it light. We can call it consciousness, higher consciousness, super consciousness, call it whatever you want. It just means love. It means euphoria. It means happiness. It means forgiveness. It means compassion. So I share with people and I guide them into their light, into their love within, and teach them how to do that. So that was my experience. But the many, many questions that I get asked are, and then I came back. And then how did I come back? I was being injected. I had 3 injections to bring me back. The next day when I came back, I remember lying in bed and I was just crying. And I looked up at the universe, or at God, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter, divine. There's many, many names. There's no judgment up there, so you can call it whatever you want. Mickey Mouse, they say bigger. The universe will go, I love that, because they're very, very playful. The Palladians are very, very playful. They don't know why we do things and why we stress them, why we're fearful of things. Everything happens for a reason, to bring us back to something, to awaken to something. So, and I was crying and I said, why did you put me back here? I know that you're there. I know you're communicating with me. I know I'm part of you, but why did you put me back here? I want to be there with you. And that's when I started to receive what I'm here for. That's when I started to receive aha moments. Oh, that's why that happened in my life. That's why, and one of the things was, that's why I got divorced. That's why I went through bankruptcy. That's why when I was a child, there was many, many things that happened, emotional traumas that happened to me. That's why they happened. That's why, including sexual assault as an adult, physically assaulted. Many, many things have happened because they had to make me who I am today. And if they hadn't have happened that way, how can I help others if I haven't had all those experiences? So I've had many, many experiences, and people with the work that I'm doing now, when I say I used to work for police in Australia, and they go, what? You? And I go, yeah, it's part of the transitioning, part of having the experience so I can help others. And I went from, I've been everything. I've been a cleaner. I've run a business. I've actually ran 2 businesses. One when I was 27, about 27 years old, and that was really, really good. It went really, really well, and I did that as a single mum with 3 children. So I've had a very, very colourful work life. So, but I know that it was hard a lot of the time, but I know why I understand why I had to have those experiences to help others. So these are the things that I really want to share with you, not to say, hey, I did all these things, because my life has been hard when I look back and go, wow, there was an inner strength inside me that I had to rely on to get me through that. We all have that. And I think it's important to know that in these times, you have an inner power. You have a beautiful light that you can access if you tune into it, that you have this amazing strength in intuition. Your psychic ability opens up, and just knowing that you can align with life by using your inner power. I say to people, never rely on your external world, your external environment, unless they are people come in a human form that become your uplifter and want to help you. They are the people, and that might only be one person, that wants to do that, because many people are sort of caught up in their own stuff and what they want to achieve, and they bring people in and want their energy to help them do that in a not good way for other reasons that aren't really good for these times. So so as I the next day, I'll go back to as I was talking to my divine, saying, why did you do that? I don't want to be here. I want to be up there with you. Such a euphoric, beautiful, wonderful experience. I asked for guidance. If you're going to leave me here, I need you to show me. And then I had to learn to ask for humans to come in human form. I had to ask for books I should read. I had to ask for, where do I get this information? Where do I go to find my guru? And that's how I ended up in Bali. I was guided. I was actually told to come here, and I was told to come to Ubud. Now that we're going through this, I think I understand why I've been in Ubud, and there's been many, many times where there's been resistance from me because of the energy shifting, and I now understand why I'm here. So, and I'm getting my vibration, I can feel it is becoming higher and higher, and it's nothing to do with Bali or Ubud. It's to do with me knowing what I can tune into. And I guess in a place like Bali, they have a lot of stuff going on here energetically, but it's easy for me to come into my own space and be in a quiet space without wondering what's going on externally. It's easier just to stay here, I guess, for me at the moment, than get on a plane and go through what's happening in the rest of the world. And I'm here, I just have to work with whatever I have. So after my death experience and that next day and asking what happened it was very, very exciting, because my grandparents were sitting at the end of my bed. They came, and angels, I had angels everywhere. It was like if you did the 1 million meditators weekend when we did the 3-day meditation, you'll know I would have talked about or brought in 1 million angels to be with the 1 million meditators and the millions of people that were meditating around the world, because I know there can be millions. There was many. I don't know how many, because at the time I was just in that energy with them. My grandparents were telling me things. They were telling me that I'm looked after. They're looking after me. The angels are looking after me. I just felt held, and I felt like I can do this if you help me, if I know that you're always there, and the angels are always there for us. Angel means messenger from God or messenger from the divine. So we can tune in to the energy of the angels at will, because we also have free will, which is very, very powerful. So after that day, then it became apparent to me that I was in something, I was being guided, and there was something else that I can tune into at will. So I was being guided to wake up at 4 in the morning or 4:30. I would walk to the ocean. It was only a few minutes from my home. And I would sit and I would look at the moon and the sun, and I would start to receive information about who I am, who we are. I would hug trees. I would have a deep, deep connection. I still do, and it's very, very strong. I can put my arms around a tree and start crying. That can either be with love or just know that that tree is in pain. I have plants, surrounded by plants here, and I talk to them all the time, and they talk back. And they wave. And I go, oh, you're waving at me. I'll wave back. Just like the waves in the ocean, they wave. So get in there and play around in the ocean, because you're doing yourself, you're giving yourself a bit of healing when we do that. Yeah, and then as I started channeling, and I didn't know it was called channeling, so it was very, very interesting times, and I was receiving information to come to Bali, information about what to do next, and I had to learn to ask for the human form to guide me, or to guide me to a particular book or a workshop or a retreat, and that means, what that means is you trust your intuition, that your inner guidance is showing you, because it's connecting to whatever. I don't know if you can hear that music. That's gongs. Sorry, I've left the music on from the meditation, so I hope you can still hear me clearly. So as it became stronger and stronger, and then the channeling became stronger, and then I guess I had people starting to come to me for sessions, to connect with their loved ones that have crossed over, connect with the energy of their heart. Why is it? Am I struggling? I've had trauma as a child, but, for example, I've had trauma as a child, but I still feel like there's something there. If there's something there, is this still struggling from the inner child? So this is what I do. I channel for them, for me, that the healing be done with this person, and I connect that energy to them through my hands to their heart. And so that's why I call it energy healing, or we could call it energy heart healing, because I do my work is done through the heart and nothing else. The heart holds wisdom. It also holds knowledge, and it has sacred chambers. It is the doorway, the gateway to our soul, to our spirit. So that's the spirituality that I teach. And it wasn't like I woke up and had this big transition and then I have this wonderful life that I'm now living. It's taken time, and this is why I want to share the near-death experience. For firstly, because people have been asking me this week. It's like it's really out there. And secondly, because I want you all to know you have a spiritual side of you that is so powerful, that when you tune into that's why meditation is so powerful, because there hasn't really been many things out there about how to do this, but it's easy to step into your own power when you meditate or you do a sound healing. I'm a sound healing master. I'm a Reiki master. I'm also a meditation teacher, and my repertoire comes under the Sacred Heart meditation. I have many that sit under that. So it's doing these things and using these things that are out there for us. And the people that are out there sharing, they have an understanding of how to do this and to how to raise the vibration of the population and the planet by doing these sort of things and spreading their love and teaching people how to love themselves and come into their intuition and develop their intuition. So developing your intuition is very, very simple. It's very, very easy. It's getting to know what in your energy, whether that's a good thing. How do I feel when I'm in that energy? It's about, does it make me feel heavy inside, or does it make me feel good inside? They're the two keys. Does it inspire me or make me feel inspired, or does it make me feel tired? That's what you're working with, the two energies. It's a bit like saying, do I want to feel my Mother Mary, or do I want to feel my Hitler? There's two energies that hold different frequencies. So, and that's what you're working with, basically, your own energy. That's how you develop your intuition. But I write about, there's a whole chapter in my book, and there's also, I do workshops on it. I now have live courses, so how to enhance that and develop it. It's very, very simple. So that sort of led me to Bali, and it just aligned. It was so easy. I went to India and studied and lived there for a while, a year and a half in total, studied Ayurveda, studied sound healing, became a master of sound, and I studied the chakra system, the energy centers within, and that sort of, it was like a no-brainer for me. So I'm just putting that out there and sharing. So with the near-death experience, it showed me, it was the intuitive side of me, the eternal self, the spiritual side of me, what that feels like. So now I translate that, and I break it down for people simply if they're, say, for example, in a meditation group with me, and then they might say, oh, this happened and that happened, and I'll go, that's because you were channeling your angels. That's called channeling. So I teach people how to feel it, because they're feelings and this is, our emotions are what we communicate with the higher dimensions with. And we're emotional beings. That's what energy is. It's energy coming in and out, and that's our emotion. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and I hope that you have heard it, and that you have received this information gracefully, because that's my dream, just to keep doing this work. I remember someone saying to me once, all we need to do is sit you. I was at a spiritual festival, Bali Spirit Festival, actually. All we need to do is sit you in a beanbag and put you in a corner and just let the people come, and you can just keep talking about this stuff. So just remember, when your lips are pointing up to the heavens, you are smiling, you are radiating out an energy from your heart that then filters out to others, and that energy aligns, and you will receive more love, love, love. So keep smiling, point your lips up to the heavens, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.